Is there any worse feeling than realizing that you can't do something based off of costs? Whether it be because money is tight at the moment or because you are trying to be financially responsible doesn't even matter too, as either way, it's just sort of a sucky situation to find yourself in. Thankfully, all is not lost here, and if you are a little resourceful with your time and money, you can still end up with a pretty great night. That's why today we are covering some low-cost hobbies that will help you live a fulfilling life, even on the tightest of budgets. Enjoy and make sure to stick around for the entire video, as we definitely save some of our favorite cheap activities for last. Number 1. Get into books or audiobooks. With all of the modern entertainment we have literally at our fingertips, sometimes the most natural alternative is a good, old-fashioned book. Some of the greatest stories ever told were written in fiction first, and it is a really great way to unplug from the online space too. If reading just isn't your thing though, or you find it difficult to focus while reading, maybe audiobooks are more your thing. There are a lot of really fun audiobooks out there these days, many of which are narrated by either the author themselves or a fun celebrity. This style of reading is great for people who are on the go and perhaps don't have the free time to sit down and settle in with a good book. You can listen to audiobooks during your commute to work, at the gym, or walking down the street, and it can really freshen things up for your routine too. If you have never been much of a reader, just remember that for years, books were the go-to source for entertainment or thought, and you may discover a passion you never realized you had if you just give it a shot. Very cheap hobby that you can do for the rest of your life with no danger of running out of books. Number 2. Watch podcasts or YouTube videos. Because of the nature of the platform, podcasts are a very cheap way to kill a few hours. Almost everyone either has a podcast or is regularly featured on one these days too. And so you will probably be able to find your kind of show pretty quickly too. Podcasts can vary wildly in quality, production level, and how serious they take the medium. And so just going out and listening to a few can also help you discover what you really like. If for whatever reason you just can't get into podcasts though, you can also look to YouTube for entertainment. The online media empire still remains strong today, and if anything, their content is more approachable than ever. Today, countless channels post regularly on YouTube, and it's a good way to quickly become part of a YouTube community or fan base too. Whether you are into podcasts or YouTube videos, by throwing yourself into these spaces, you are broadening your horizons a bit and may be able to make friends based off of the connections you make too. Number 3. Make a podcast or YouTube video. For many of us, watching YouTube videos or podcasts for years has made us want to create our own content and build our own communities. This is a great use of your time, as you will be able to gain skills in branding, marketing, socializing, and more within these online spaces. If you have a friend or are really passionate about a specific subject, then a podcast might be the perfect place for you to talk about something you enjoy with others, and on YouTube you can learn valuable lessons about creation as well. While there are countless other creators out there online, that shouldn't discourage you in the slightest, as there are always going to be people inspired into making cool stuff. Creating content is a great kind of hobby to help you feel fulfilled without having to spend that much money, and you would be surprised how many people have made a living off of their channels that they just made for fun. Number 4. Try out gardening. If you have the space for it, gardening is a cheap hobby that has been used for generations. People who garden enjoy getting a literal end product for all their hard work. But the process of doing something for an extended period of time can be pretty rewarding in itself. People who garden often gain a better appreciation for nature, and they also get to look out onto their garden with pride and show it off to others. Creating a garden can be sort of like creating a space where you can be yourself, and where you can make things without the need to share it with the world or sell it for a profit. We think you'll really enjoy our next low-cost entry. But before that, I have a favor to ask of you. If you like this video so far, please subscribe to the channel. Number 5. Become a movie buff. With apps like Letterboxd becoming so popular today, there's never been a better time to get into the art of reviewing movies. Countless people take to these apps every day, and all they do is watch movies and give them a silly or serious review based on their thoughts. If you are into the online community side of things, this is a great way to build up a small following if you are passionate enough. And if you're just looking to have some fun, you could also convince your friends to make accounts along with you. This way, you can all look at the reviews you've made from movies you have watched, and it's just a good and fun thing to do in your free time. A great hobby is one that is able to adapt to the amount of time and energy that you have. And this one is great because it's all based around something many of us already do in our free time. And it isn't something you have to take seriously at all in order to have fun. Number 6, get into cooking or baking. Some of the most fulfilling hobbies that you could get into are the ones that you already have to do in your regular life. Cooking is definitely one of those things, and it can even save you money if it prevents you from eating at restaurants or fast food chains instead. This is also a good kind of hobby to do if you want to show your friends a good time, as making a meal for them can be a really fun way to pass an evening. Cooking and baking are good skills to have since, you want to enjoy the food that you are making for yourself after all, and it's also one that can be very inexpensive too. Number 7, see the sights and go hiking. Hiking is a really fun hobby because there are so many ways to go about it. There are people that get really into the planning stage, charting a course that tries to include all the sights they want to see. There are also people who go hiking to clear their mind or to get exercise that day, as well as people that prefer to hike in groups and get into the camping side of things. Regardless, which is your favorite, and maybe you like them all, hiking is a dirt cheap way to get out and about. As far as hobbies go, hiking is one of the most inexpensive, especially if you don't need the equipment like tents, cooking supplies, and other gear. Even then, though, most of that stuff will last for years and you may even be able to borrow it from a friend or family member. Number 8, learn a new skill. Sometimes the act of doing something can be better than the hobby itself. That's definitely the case for this entry, which is in some ways a combination of many different activities. Learning a new skill may not seem like the most fun you could have, but our brains would beg to differ. When you learn something new, especially something that you have to physically interact with, your brain becomes engaged, memorizing the event and the feeling of finally solving the problem once and for all. Even if on the surface, learning a skill doesn't seem like an entertaining way to pass the time, it could be something you remember for a long time and something you get into as you start to do it. Number 9, see if painting is your thing. Did you know most people don't even attempt art before claiming they're no good at it? Sadly, it's the truth, and most people today believe that artistic talent is simply something you are born with. That's simply not the case though, and learning how to paint or how to draw can be both fun, as well as help you to see a different side of yourself. Programs like the ones Bob Ross used to run on TV were all about getting into painting on the cheap, and he was able to inspire countless people by making it seem so easy. The truth is, even if you can't actually paint, getting into that headspace is really critical for positive brain development, and it can also help you gain a greater appreciation of your creative side. Number 10, learn a language. Learning a language can seem really daunting, but it's really not. Human beings are remarkably clever, and our brains absorb information a lot better than it may seem at times. This skill is valuable too, and can even make you appear more qualified during a job interview. A hobby that can actually help you land a job and costs next to nothing. Now that is an excellent hobby to take up if you ever have a little extra free time. Number 11, hunt for free stuff in newspapers or online. These days, your source of news is probably a Facebook feed and not a newspaper, but regardless of where you get it from, try to look for free events near you. Not only do some of these events have a lot to offer, even the hunt of looking for them can be pretty fun in its own right. These events cost you nothing and are a great way to get out and meet new people. And so make sure to keep your eye out when scrolling through social media for potential offers. What's your favorite cheap thing to do? Let us know down in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, which we hope you did, please consider leaving a like on the video if you haven't already. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can watch more business and financial videos just like this one